Yalla. Okay, Kuf Yud Amud Bet, all the way in the bottom. All the way in the bottom. Amar Rav Yehuda. You see it? Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel. Kol המזוג מצטרף חוץ מן המים. So, sorry, just to go backtrack. We said you can't have zugot. Were you there for that? Pairs of things is a problem. Not nowadays, as we explained, there's no more that. Okay, zugot is problem either for kshafim, witchcraft, or shedim. Okay, so anything that's diluted, mazug is diluted, mitztaref, it's mitztaref to be a zug, chutz mimayim, min hamayim, except for water. ורבי יוחנן אמר, אפילו מים, right? אמר רב פאפא, לא אמרן, אלא חמים...
It's a zug because you got the wine and the water together?
No, water and water. No. Two types of waters. You're going to see now. Okay, so 2 cups of water basically would not be mitztaref, right? That's according to Amar Rav Yehuda Shmuel. Rabbi Yochanan says even 2 cups of water is going to be mitztaref. Now, Amar Rav Papa lo amran, when Rabbi Yochanan said that the 2 cups of water are mitztaref, ela chamim legu kariri, vekariri legu chamimi, hot and cold and hot, right? Right? Aval chamim legu chamimi, vekariri legu kariri, lo, hot, cold, no. Amar Rish Lakish, 4 דברים העושה אותן דמו בראשו. 4 things a person does, his blood's on his head, right? דמו בראשו ומתחייב בנפשו. Sorry, דמו בראשו ומתחייב בנפשו. אלו הן, what are these things? הנפנה בין דקל לכותל, a person who uses the restroom in between a palm tree and a kotel, a wall. עובר בין שני דקלים, a person who walks in between 2 palm trees because there's shedim there. Right? Vashutem maim shualim, he drinks borrowed water. He borrowed water from somebody and he drank it. Over al maim shfuchim, a person who walks over water that was spilled on the ground. Vafilu shufchato ishto befanav, even if his own wife, she poured it on the ground. Right? Anifna ben dekel lekotel, a person who ends up going to the restroom right in between a palm tree and a kotel. Lo amran el deleit le 400. We're only saying this situation if there's no 4 amot in between the kotel and the palm tree. But if there is 4 amot that is separating between the two, there's no type of danger. Okay? Run those white lines. Okay? You see that? And when we were saying that there's no 4 amot, right? As long as there's no other location that you can walk by, right? But if there's another location you can walk by, and he ended up walking through here as well, that's not a problem. Why? Because as we explained, the shadim are only in places that people don't usually go by, and it's the only location that's there, right? But right, and a person, if he walks by 2 palm trees, that's only in a situation where there's not Reshut Arabim that's separating between the two. But if there's a Reshut Arabim in between that's separating between the 2 palm trees, there's no issue of Shadim. Right, sorry. A person who drinks borrowed water, we're only talking about a case where a young kid, he's the one who borrowed it. But a big guy, older person, no, right? This is only in a situation where it's in a sadeh, where it's not found to be this water, right? But in a city, right, there's a lot of water, there's no situation of shadim. When we said the sadeh, that's only talking about a situation in regarding to borrowed water. But beer and wine, wine and beer, there's no problem with that. You can borrow and drink wine or beer, right? A person who walks over poured water, right? Lo amran ele delo afsekinu be'afra velo taf be'uroka. This is only talking about a situation where there's no dirt that's separating this puddle, or he didn't spit on it, right? הפסקינו בהפרה, right? או טף באורוכה, לטלן בה, but if there's dirt, or he spit on it, there's no situation of demons and they can walk over there. Right? ולא אמרן דלא עבר אליהו שמשה. And this is only talking about a situation where the sun never hit the spot of a puddle, right? ולא עבר אליהו שיטין nigiri. There hasn't been 60 steps stepped over this type of water, right? אבל עבר אליהו שמשה ועבר אליהו שיטין נגרי, לטלן בה, right? If you have the sun, you have the 60 steps, there's no problem. ולא אמרן דלא רכיב חמרה. And this is only talking about a situation where he wasn't riding a donkey, velo saimisani, and he wasn't wearing shoes. But he was riding a donkey and he was wearing shoes. There's no problem, right? These are only talking about a situation. This is only in a place where you have to be chushesh for kshafim, for witchcrafters. Right. If you have all these things, he was riding a donkey, he was wearing the shoes, there was the sun, there was the 60 steps, right? This is only, it's not a dangerous thing, only in a situation where there's no chashash for kshafim, for witchcrafters over there. But if it's a situation or a place where there is shafim, witchcrafters that the person needs to be choshesh for, right? And even though he has all these situations that he could get rid of these demons or whatever, still should be choshesh. Why? There was that one guy who was riding a donkey and he had his shoes on, right? How did they explain it here? 1 second. Oh, that he still went over this thing, and his Rashi explained it. His shoes ended up getting shrunk up, anyways, because of the kshafim and the what's it called? And his feet also shrank because of the kshafim. So even though they had all these situations, still should be choshesh. Tanu Rabbanan. Shosha en mimatzin ven mitma'atzin. 3 things you don't let them walk in between you, and 3 things you don't walk in between them. Ve'eluhen, and these are the 3: a kelev, a dog, a dekel, palm tree, ve'isha, and a woman. Okay? Ve'yesh omrim af chazir. Some say pig, ve'yesh omrim af nachash, and some say a snake. Right? If they end up walking in between you, what's the takana? What should a person do, right? So that he's not in sakana. Amar papa niftecha bekel venafsik bekel. You should say this pasuk bamidbar chav gimel chav beis chav gimel. Okay, the pasuk. Okay. Now, where was I? Inami niftach belo venafsik belo. There's the pasuk that says Lo ish al v'chazav v'ben adam v'itnazem ahu amar, right? V'lo yaseh v'lo diber v'lo yekmina, right? So it started with lo and ends with lo. So these psukim end up getting rid of the problematic situations, right? Hani beitrei the matzalewuli isha nida. If these 2 people, they ended up seeing a woman that was in nida. If she's in the beginning of her nida, she kills one of them. See, from here we see, don't mess with your wife. In the beginning of nida. Right? This is mamish the situation. In the beginning, she wants to kill you. At the end, she's very emotional. So over there, it can be just cause an argument. Right? So that's what can happen to these people if it ends up that this situation happened to them, right? My takante, what's the takana that they should do? Niftach bekel v'nafsik bekel. They say the same sukim that we said earlier, that started with kel and end with kel. Hani trei nashi diyetvan beparsha darachim. These 2 women that are on 2. בפרשת דרכים, אחד בהי גיסא דשבילה, אחד בהי גיסא. One is on one side and one is on the right. One's on the right, one's on the left, right? And their faces are facing towards each other. They're for sure dealing with witchcraftery. What should they do? If there's another way, go there. If there's no other way, if there's another person he could take with him, they should hold hands together, and then they could walk in this path. Right? If there's no other person, this is what he should say, the guy. Agart azalt asya balusia mitakla bechavik kavri. The Gemara is explaining, where's the אותן שדים שאתם מתעסקות בהן, כבר הן הרוגים בחיצים. All these demons that you're dealing with, they're already dead, and they were killed with arrows. Okay, so they can't affect them. Hai man de paga beitata beidna de salkav mitvilat mitzvot. If a man, he ends up seeing a woman leaving the mikveh, right? For what's it called, Vilas mitzvah, right? He made for himself ruach of znut on him, right? If he ends up doing shimush before she ends up doing shimush, he gets the ruach of znut. If she ends up doing it before him, she gets the ruach of znut. My takante, what's the takana? He should say this: shofech buz al nedivim. He should say this pasuk. Amar Rabbi Yitzchak, מה דכתיב? גם כי ילך בגיא צל מוות לא ירא, כי אתה עמדי. Right, what's this pasuk? זה ישן בצל דקל יחידי. This is a person who ends up sleeping in the shade of a single palm tree, ובצל לבנה, in the shade of the moon. Right, ובצל דקל יחידי לא אמרן, אלא דלא נפילתו לדחברי אליו. This palm tree that we're talking about is only in a situation where another shade of another palm tree never overlaps this shade of this palm tree. Right? But if another palm tree's shade went on top of it, there's no issue. Okay? But the Gemara says, we see a state brisa, הישן בצל דקל יחידי בחצר, right, in the חצר, והישן בצל לבנה, דמו בראשו. And over there, it didn't make enough community between if the shade went on top of it or not. So what's the pshat? If we were saying that, right? If we're saying that the shade never went on top of it, we should say the same thing by the Yisadeh. So in a chatzer, right? It's a different situation. Even though, right? It's still dangerous. Even if the shade of the other tree went on top of it, still dangerous. Right, in the shade of the moon, lo amran ela b'ma'arava, aval b'dinchata letnan bar. It's only talking about the west side, but if it's on the right side, on the east side, there's no situation. That's kind of